Hey guys, so this is going to be my review of Detective Pikachu because it needs to be reviewed. So before we start, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie and if you don't want anything ruined and all that, I suggest you just get ahead. Alright, because everything's going to be spoiled. So if you don't want spoilers or anything like that, leave now. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, subscribe. If not, congratulations, you want a movie spoiled for you because maybe you're not going to see it or, something like that. But I've got a simple little synopsis and the cast right here on my other screen, so that way I'm not like, oh yeah, this was played by. No, I've got an entire thing right here. So we're going to just kind of go through. I'm going to read the synopsis, the characters, so that way we can kind of get a foundation of what it is, and I'll kind of talk about it from there. So here's the synopsis. In Rhyme City, a metropolis populated by between the bonds of human and Pokemon alike, a 21-year-old former Pokemon trainer named Tim Goodman comes into contact with a talking Pikachu that once belonged to his father, Harry Goodman, who went missing after an accident. Tim and the talking Pikachu, who calls himself Detective Pikachu, investigate to find the whereabouts with the help of a reporter, Lucy Stevens, and her Psyduck, until they come across something that endangers the Pokemon world. Okay, so Pikachu, obviously we know is Ryan Reynolds. We knew that. Justice Smith as Tim Goodwin. Iko Tani also prizes her role as Pikachu, where, I don't know, until the day she died, she's going to be Pikachu. Catherine Newton as Lucy Stevens. Bill Nye, he's basically like this, he's in a wheelchair. He's pretty much the person who created Rhyme City as a way for humans and Pokemon to live side by side, not in a Pokeball or battling, because having battles in Rhyme City is, I guess, what they consider illegal, but they do have an underground battle syndicate type thing going on. But he wants kind of like a peace between them, but we'll get more into that. Also the founder of Clifford Enterprises, which is kind of like a corporation that he has, Ken Watanabe as Hideo Yoshida. He's the lieutenant of the police there. Chris Gere, which is Roger Clifford, Bill Nye's his character's son. Suki Waterhouse as Ms. Norman. She's basically like the henchwoman, but she's not actually a person. She's more just a Ditto that's just transforming. At the end of the movie, it gets really cool because you just see Ditto go crazy and just start transforming into a bunch of shit. And, it's really cool. Omar Chaparro as Sebastian, who basically runs the underground arena. Who, when you see the Charizard, that's his Charizard. Rita Ora, Dr. Anne Laurent, and she's the one who's the scientist. And now it says a little here about Mewtwo, experimenting on Mewtwo. Mewtwo obviously is in it, and the funny thing about Mewtwo is they say it's a Mewtwo who escaped from Kanto, so it's either canon to the video game storyline or it's canon to the anime storyline. But they did specifically mention in the movie that this Mewtwo was escaped from Kanto. So keep that in mind. Where are we? So yeah, Mewtwo. Karan Sony is Jack, Tim's friend and partner. Pokemon trainer, who's his kind of like partner as in like friend, but he's a Pokemon trainer. In the very beginning of the movie, when you see the Cubone, that's what they're doing. The very beginning of the movie, they're out there trying to catch Tim a Pokemon of his own. They see a Cubone. It doesn't work out very well. People will know him as Dopinder from Deadpool. He's the taxi driver who takes Deadpool around. And Josette Simmons as Grams, basically just Tim's grandma. You don't really see anything much with her. But, yeah, now that we've got the people and everything established, within the first few seconds of the movie, they show Mewtwo. You know, he's in his little thing, and it's like the first movie all over again. He busts out. You see him shoot up into the sky, and we see the car. We don't know who's in the car at first, but Mewtwo is chasing after the car. And we assume at that point Mewtwo is the one who flips the car over the bridge that what we see in the trailer. You see a car go over a bridge. We assume it's Mewtwo. After that, we find Tim and his friend. They're out in the field trying to catch a Pokemon for Tim. And it's a Cubone, because Cubone's sitting there. It's really funny, especially when Cubone busts out and he bone meringues him, and it's pretty funny, and everything looks so nice. He gets the news pretty much that he needs to come to Rhyme City because he's not in Rhyme City. He needs to come to Rhyme City. He talks to Watanabe. I'm just gonna call him Watanabe because that's, or Yoshi. I'll just call him Yoshida. And his partner is a Snubbull. And Snubble's pretty funny. He doesn't really do much. It's just the entire time he's like staring at him like, and he's like, oh yeah, don't worry. It's not. He doesn't. He has nothing against you. It's just he looks mean, but he's really quite nice. And he tries petting him. He's like, and he's like, But then when Tim leaves, he scratches the top of Snubble's head. I'm like, well, that's pretty funny. But the entire time he's like, and Tim's like, does your Snubbull not like me or something? But we do finally get home, or not home, but we meet Lucy. He goes into the apartment where his dad was, where he lived. We meet Lucy not too long after that because she's kind of staking out the place to kind of see who goes to the mailbox to pick up Harry's mail. So they finally meet. We meet Psyduck, and I don't like Psyduck's voice so much. In this one, it's like Psyduck. I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to Psy. It sounds more like you have a headache when you're doing Psy than Psyduck. But we meet Lucy. She's pretty cool. But they leave. He goes upstairs, and he eventually meets Pikachu, the Trier. He meets Pikachu, and they pretty much set out to find out what happened to Harry, because Pikachu has no memories. He knows he was there. He knows that he was Harry's son, or Harry's partner, but he doesn't know exactly what happened. So they kind of set out. They meet eventually. Bill Nye's character, Clifford. I'm just gonna call him Clifford. Clifford Senior, I should just say, because obviously his son is Clifford, so I'll say Clifford Junior. But Clifford Senior, he's in a wheelchair, and essentially when we go and meet him, at first he seems pretty cool. Human and Pokemon, how Pokemon are so fascinating that we see Eevee, and just Eevee evolves into Flareon in front of Tim. And Flareon looks amazing, of course. I love Flareon. Anyone who watches my videos knows I love Flareon. But essentially, it becomes obvious that he's not what he seems. He's in a wheelchair, and he's trying to find ways to, better Pokemon. And I think the phrase was like, something about Pokemon being the best they can be, or something like that. But yeah, you kind of get the vibe that this guy's too nice, and he's in a wheelchair. So you're like, okay, something's bound to happen with this guy. We meet his son, who's a complete dickwad, but more about that later. Obviously because it's towards the end. And I'm going out of sequence, or just trying to remember it from memory, because I saw it last night. And I'm just kind of going from memory. So after that, also, before I go, the trailer, the What a Pikachu World, and the trailers in general. I mentioned that because they were in the bar, and they were talking about, oh hey, yeah, we're gonna find your dad, and what if he faked his own death, or someone faked his own death, or he faked someone else's death. And we see Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff was singing her song, and only the guy at the table was asleep. And I'm thinking, that makes no sense. Everyone should have been asleep, and that would have been such a great joke. How they pan onto Jigglypuff, and suddenly she starts singing. Everyone in the bar passes out, and that would be great, because it would be funny if Tim and Pikachu were in conversation with each other, and suddenly Jigglypuff starts singing, and they all pass out. They wake up, drawings all over their face, and like, okay, what happened? Wait, what were we talking about again? But no, only the guy was only fell asleep, and I'm like, that makes no sense. Jigglypuff's song puts everyone to sleep, especially since it's kind of confirmed just by the little microphone that it had that it's the Jigglypuff from the anime, which makes me think it's canon to the anime. So it's got the Jigglypuff from the anime, it's got Mewtwo who escaped from Kanto, so I'm assuming this is lining up with the anime, which that's pretty cool. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought that was kind of weird. But he finds the stuff in the room, he lets it out. And this happened before, but there's a little vial and it has like a purple smoke in it type thing. He lets it out and it looked like Gengar smoke, like someone's about to do Shadow Ball or something like that. But it's basically a smoke that when it's inhaled, it makes Pokemon like super aggressive. So he lets it out, he opens the window, it gets outside, and the Apom that are outside so suddenly he's being attacked by Apom, he's got to get out, and they're like running away from the Apom, and Pikachu's like, no, just keep doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and get help. And Pikachu just starts running and going back and forth, up and top, and he's like, help, my friend's being eaten alive by Apom, oh my god, they're eating him alive. It's like, yeah, thanks for the help, Pikachu. But he wants to find out more about this vial, and the girl Lucy, she knows about it because she has like a whole thing of them that she found up by the docks, and they find out that it's kind of connected with the underground battling circuit. So they go under there, and you see Charizard, who's amazing looking, but the guy who owns it uses the stuff to kind of enhance his Charizard. Pikachu battles him, realizes that he can't use his powers. He either forgot how, or they're just not circulating at the time. So yeah, all hell breaks loose when all the gas gets released, all the Pokemon going crazy and this and that. It's a pretty cool scene, seeing all the Pokemon there, seeing Charizard. There's a Magikarp, and Pikachu's like, oh, I know how to deal with this, and he kicks Magikarp, and that's when he says, in my head that went a lot different, but he does end up evolving into Gyarados. There's a whole the reason for it. He's like, oh yeah, Magikarp may be useless, but when he evolves and blah blah blah, and so he kicks him like James did in the anime, and you would expect, oh, he's gonna kick him and it's gonna evolve. He doesn't do that. Somehow that went a little differently in my head, but he does turn into Gyarados, and he blasts him away with water, and Gyarados looks he's just enormous, and then Charizard is like afraid for his life because the smoke the effects wear off, and but anyways, we learned from Clifford Sr. that he has like this 3D thing going on, like that he can do, where if say it's a news report, it can be all around him, and he says for him 3D stuff like that, especially with police work and stuff, it allows you to see things that may have gone unnoticed, and that proves to be helpful in later on. They get to the kind of not the factory, but the lab, because they're trying to find out, because they learn about Mewtwo, and they're like, okay, we need to go to this lab and this and that. But they get there, and we see Greninja have been worked on. I guess making them stronger. We see Torterra, and at first they're like, these Torterra look normal, but a little more than that, a little about that. But then we go into the chamber where Mewtwo is. It's destroyed, of course, because Mewtwo blasted his way out of it. They're able to get everything started again, at least into the files. So they're able to type in, and they're able to create the holographic around them to see what actually happened. They see Mewtwo busting out, but it's shown that Pikachu was the one who let Mewtwo out. And suddenly Pikachu thinks he's thinking that he's the bad guy, that he helped Mewtwo, and that Mewtwo's this bad Pokemon, he helped him, and this and that. But they get outside, they're being chased by Greninja, and Psyduck, to stop them, they're forcing Psyduck to do his get a bad headache. Psyduck blasts them all away, and suddenly the Earth starts to move, and it kind of like gets Inception like, where it's like up this way, and everyone in the trailer, when people saw the trailer, is like, what the hell is happening? It turns out that there are massive Torterra, that the entire land they're on, there's like 4 or 5 of them, and the place they were on and everywhere they were running were just the backs of Torterra. They were just massive in scale, and they were almost city-sized Torterra that were just planted into the ground resting, and they got up, and once everything settled, they would move back down, and everything got into place again. I was like, that is amazing. There's like these little tiny Torterra that they saw, and now there's these massive Titan-sized Torterra there that they're on the backs of. But as these Torterra are moving about, things are dropping. Pikachu gets hit in the head with a rock. Not a very big rock, but enough to hurt him. So they're trying to find help for Pikachu. A Bulbasaur comes along, and Tim is pleading with him, saying, "Help me! My Pikachu's hurt. He needs help." And Lucy's like, "He can't understand you," but it's like, well, they can understand emotion, so he kind of pleads with him. Bulbasaur leaves and brings back his friends, and that's when we see in the trailer when walking with the Bulbasaur and all the Morlul. Eventually we get to the scene where they kind of tell him to put him down onto like this stone slab type thing, but instead of a healer showing up like we thought, like maybe a Venusaur or something like that, we get Mewtwo. Mewtwo appears, and instead of causing havoc, he heals Pikachu. And we find out that Mewtwo wasn't the one who flipped the car. It was the Greninja who flipped the car. Mewtwo essentially tried to stop the Greninja. So they go back and try to... Well, before they go back, Mewtwo gets captured by Junior. They go back to Rhyme City, and they figure, well, let's go tell Senior. But then it turns out that Senior was the mastermind behind the plan. He's got this like a headgear type thing strapped to himself, and Mewtwo has the same thing. Essentially, it links both their minds together, and he's pretty much able to leave his body, and his soul spirit is able to inhabit the body of Mewtwo. So he inhabits Mewtwo. He gets up and leaves, telling people that perfection, and you're all going to be turned into Pokemon, and the balloons that they have for their parade, and all those have gas in it. So it comes out. Everyone starts breathing it in, and Mewtwo, I shouldn't say Mewtwo because it's not Mewtwo at this point, it's Senior. He uses some kind of ability to where it fuses the Pokemon and their partners together. So Lucy gets into her Psyduck. Watanabe's character gets stuck inside his Snubble, so on and so forth. The only one who doesn't, obviously, is Pikachu and Tim. Pikachu goes after Mewtwo, trying to stop him. We see our first Volt Tackle, which looks amazing in the movie, and Pikachu kind of has his a pretty good way against against Mewtwo. Ditto shows up and kind of transforms into different Pokemon to, Bouffalant and stuff like that. How they really defeat Mewtwo or Senior at this point is it's fairly simple. The classic distraction. Pikachu distracts Mewtwo or Senior, so that way Tim can go just walk right up to Senior and take the thing off of his head, and he's like, "Oh, what have you done?" And Mewtwo and Pikachu start to fall because they kind of unconscious for a second, and we think that Pikachu's about to hit the ground, and Mewtwo uses his psychic and saves Pikachu, and after that Senior's arrested. We find out that Junior wasn't actually Junior, it was a Ditto. The real Junior was tied up in a closet. Kind of like Harry Potter with Mad-Eye Moody, how the real Moody was stuck in his chest, his bottomless chest. Kind of like that, except Junior's just stuck in a closet. And then Mewtwo, says that he's going to fix everything and put everything back to the way it is, and he fixes everyone. They all separate from their Pokemon, and we find out that Pikachu is essentially holding his dad's spirit, soul, and he shows a flashback of what actually happened, how Mewtwo came along and saw that he was really badly injured and that Pikachu was willing to essentially be a host. Think of Kingdom Hearts in this point, where Sora held Ven's heart inside of him for safekeeping until further down the line where he was able to have a body of his own again. That's essentially what Mewtwo did. He put his Harry's soul spirit into Pikachu, who was willing to become like this vessel for him, and Mewtwo made it right by giving his dad a body. And then at the end of the movie, his dad is played by Ryan Reynolds. So we hear Pikachu's voice, but it's not actually Pikachu anymore. Well, not Ryan Reynolds Pikachu, it's just Pikachu. He can't talk anymore because Ryan Reynolds, the voice, is now a physical being, and it's his dad. So I'm like, wait, so Pikachu is now his dad. So we see him, and he's at the train station about to leave, and because throughout the whole movie he was like really mad at his dad, saying, yeah, he could have been there, he wasn't there for me that much, and when he thinks that his dad is dead, he wishes that maybe he went to see him more, or just took the time to see him. But he says, like, you know what, if it's okay with you, do you think I could stay with you? And of course his dad's like, of course, I would really like that. So he throws away the ticket, and happily ever after, until I think Detective Pikachu 2, which I think they said they're making. But all in all, that movie was amazing. They had the classic Pokemon theme song with Pikachu. He was like walking down the road, he's like, Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. It was really good. You heard the music during an event, just the music, not the singing, but during the I think it was the announcement of the parade, or during the parade, but it was definitely earlier on. I think it was just the announcement of it, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. Seeing all the Pokemon, seeing just the references to all the Pokemon. There's like signs, like one of them was the Noctowl, and it was really, really cool. So I would recommend definitely seeing it if you haven't already. Tell me what you guys thought of it. Do you think, I mean, in my opinion, it totally broke the stigma that video games can't be good movies, because up until recently everyone considered Mortal Kombat and Resident Evil a good video game movie, but they were horrible. It's legit good. I mean, I think Rotten Tomatoes like 68-70% rating, and fans or viewers 85%. So it's a good movie. So I recommend seeing it. And yeah, it's gonna hold us over until that horrible Sonic movie comes out and puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Hopefully by then we'll have Pikachu on DVD. We're like, well, Sonic sucked. Let me go home and watch Detective Pikachu. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I understand that mine was kind of convoluted and kind of hard to understand, but like I said, I'm just kind of trying to do it from memory. I should have done it last night when it was still fresh, but like I said, I got out of the movies. We went to Walmart. We got out of the movies at like 9 o'clock. We went to Walmart. It was like 11, 12 when I got home. By then, I was completely tired, so I'm like, okay, I'll just do this in the morning, but it's harder to remember the next day. That's why so many people do it when it's fresh, not the next day, like literally right afterwards. But yeah, it may have been convoluted, but pretty much all the key things were there for the most part. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Did you like it? Did you not see it? Are you excited to see it? If you did see it, what would you have liked to see in it? Like, what Pokemon would you want to see in this one? Or if the second one does get made, what Pokemon do you want to see in the next one? Like, what legendaries? We've seen Mewtwo. We didn't see Mew. They did mention Mew, obviously, but would you like to see Mew in the second one? Do you want to see Ho-Oh or Lugia? I mean, they even make reference to Arceus when Pikachu says, "Sweet mother of Arceus." So they mention and accept that Arceus is God, essentially. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.